Welcome back to Melee in Isolation. It's early June. We're still socially isolating here at Castle Wistric. And I still haven't gotten to stab anybody. And I still want to talk about Melee. If you're still with us after that last video, thank you. What I want to talk about this one today is not training tactics, anything like that. What I want to talk about is a tournament format that I think is really cool and that I didn't know existed until I moved to Meridies. I came from Atlantia, which was a pretty melee heavy kingdom, and had never seen this tournament or thought of this tournament. And what it's called, and it's called the Armatura. And what it is a 3 versus 3 melee bear pit. But it's not teams of 3. There gets to be a single winner at the end of the entire thing. So the way it goes, let's say we start off with our 3 people, and we're going to have, again, there's not teams, but coats and shirts here. And we call Leon, and the bear pit part is over here. We've got our lines of people to replace the fighters. And there's 3 lines. There's not just one line feeding in. This is important. So you have your 3 versus 3, they fight, and let's say the guys who happen to be in coats win. And the shirts all die. Guys who happen to be in coats, they get a point. The shirts all go line up at the end of the same line. Right? So they don't like spread out like this, because then we would just have the same teams cycling through. Instead, they line up like this, and there's never going to be, and so they won't be on the same team again. At least, not unless random chance makes it happen. So, back to here, we have our 3 guys that happen to be in coats, and now the 3 fighters who happen to be in vests come in and fight them, and let's say the people in vests win. Okay, so now our 3 people, our coat team goes over here, and they're back at the end of the second line. So now we have 2 lines that have 2 teams in them, and 2 teams that have joined them, and now there's just this one person here. So now the vests go over here. This next wave of fighters comes in, and they're a mishmash. And let's say the vests win, and our res lines move up. Let's say the vests win again. So these 3 go back here, and they rejoin the 3rd line, the line that has not had a team join it yet. So now we have our 3 lines again, and the next 3 come in, and it's somebody from that mishmash team, one of the coats, and one of the shirts. See, you don't end up on the same team. And we're going to go through the same cycle. And let's see, the vests have won twice. So let's say they win again. Our mishmash, these 3 fighters, they go to the end of the line, back here. Now the vests have won 3 fights. So they have, each one of them has gotten 3 points. And now they've won their 3, so it's 3 and out, so they get an extra point. So they all have gotten 4 points, and they go over here. And the next 2 teams worth of people come in here. And so now now they're going to fight. And again, one of these teams is going to win, one of these teams is going to lose. Something important to remember, if these fighters are fighting and these 2 die, but this person ends up being the last person standing, so the other 2 people on this team are back in. They're still alive. Or they're not still alive, but they're back in. So even if you die, if your team wins, you get a point, you stay in. Next team comes up. And this is not an ongoing cycle. This is, lay on, fight. Next team. Lay on. Let's see, these ones die. This one dies. Die. Captain Hook wins. His team comes back on. They have the field. These three go over here. Like that. Again. And so every time you're on the team that wins, you get a point. You win all three, you get a point. You get an extra point, so you get your 4 points. Since you're not going to be on the same team over and over again, you're going to be on different teams. You're going to have different mixes of people who haven't necessarily trained together or may not have trained at all. So in my experience, the person who gets the most points is usually a high-end melee fighter who is also a high-end melee commander. I'm not saying this just because I win this tournament at MCA when I fight in it. But I've seen it run other times by other people. I've run it, so I've gotten to watch it. And the person who wins is always a good melee fighter, strong melee fighter, and commander, because what they have to do is, in the time that these two teams walk out here, if they just stand around and are like, gosh, I hope we win, that's not a good way to go about things, is it? Instead, if, say, Cody Boy over here says, all right, you two pair up. Okay, who, hey, Shirt, do you think you can take Cody Boy over there? Shirt says, heck yeah, I got him. Okay, great, I'm going to go over here, flank and push. Whereas these three have been like, I hope we win. They're going to walk forward. Shirt's going to jump Cody Boy over here. Our Cody Boy's going to run over here and kill people. And this team wins quickly and effectively. And they get their points. The next team comes up. And again, if there's not somebody on that team who's coordinating them from the get-go, commanding them, and also a playmaker, they don't stand a good chance. So, the winner of the overall tournament tends to be a very skilled, strong melee fighter. And if you wanted to see who the best melee fighter in your kingdom was, this isn't a bad way to go about it. If you wanted to put together a melee champs team for a Pinzik Champions Warpoint, this isn't a bad way to go about it either. You might, take all your fighters, put them into one of these, see what the top rank are. In the top 5, here's 5 people for your melee champs team. Because they have demonstrated their skill as a melee fighter, as a commander, a deep understanding of melee, just to be able to win. Just to be able to win, no matter who they went out there with, who they went out there against. They were able to make a victory happen against a variety of opponents with a variety of teammates. And that's kind of what you want on your melee champs team. And that's kind of what a melee fighter wants to be able to do at all. So, go run these Armaturi in your kingdom. Have fun. And it turns out that the bare minimum number of people you need to be able to run these happens to be the number of pirates that I have, which is 12. If you have less than 12, you're not going to be able to run it as a pure Armatura. You might be able to have 2 lines feeding in, and so that you maybe end up with 2 people that you were on a team with last time and a new person. But if you got your 12, then as this team dies, and really you might want 15, but as this team dies, one of them is basically going to come back into immediately, and 2 people from the other teams. So yeah, 15 is a good number to have. 12, bare minimum. Below that, you start getting into not quite the true spirit of Christmas. So that might just be the last one of these videos with the pirates. My scholar Jay gave them to me because he's awesome and he wants me to be able to do good videos, and he just is generally awesome like that. But then he saw that they weren't standing up and they were hard to see because they were kind of small, and he decided that he needed to do something better. That really, I needed better toys for these videos so that they were clearly visible, they would stand up, that, you know. So I now have Funko Pops, Game of Thrones versus Jurassic Park, 5 of each, which is good because we're going to be starting 5-man tactics videos with Funko Pops. Thank you, Jay, and thank you all for watching.